And away we go. It is the Aftermath. Brought to you by Mio's Pizza right here on BearcatJournal.com. You're in Clifton, getting ready for a basketball game. Maybe you're a student. Maybe you're going to see your kids. Whatever the case may be, make sure you stop by and see our friends at Mio's. They will get you taken care of. Great pizza. I love the steak hoagies, great potato wedges, pretzel bites, deep dish pizza, and more. Plus drink specials throughout the week and on the weekends. So go see your good friends at Mio's in Clifton. They will get you taken care of. Aaron, what's up, buddy?
We made it.
We did. It I don't know. I don't have too much to gripe about here. Colorado was the better team. They played the better game. They had better quarterback play. I mean, I don't really know, I don't have a whole lot of complaints other than they just didn't play well enough. And
I want to
Colorado
start.
played better. Go ahead. Have at it.
I want to start with a complaint about the broadcast. Jesus Christ, it was a giant commercial for Colorado. The whole thing. I don't think they mentioned anything specific about Cincinnati at all the entire time.
I'm not
kidding. Nothing.
No, I will just say if you didn't expect that, like,
God bless.
Yeah. I mean, it was bad. It was really, really bad.
It was worse than any broadcast I've ever seen. It was worse than the Bengals playing the Chiefs. It was worse than any broadcast I've ever seen in my entire life. It was terrible.
The thing that pisses me off is, can we not watch the fucking play?
We can't watch the game. We're watching Hunter playing hoops for God knows what reasons. We're watching Shadur do his pregame. Apparently, he's the only quarterback who does pregame rituals. I don't know.
I'm talking more about like Warren Sapp. We're showing a Warren Sapp vignette while the game is happening. Joe Royer caught a first down pass that we never saw. We saw him getting up. I was like, what just happened there? It was like they had here's what happened. I'll tell you exactly what happened from a TV perspective, Aaron. They moved on to their B material because they expected, like, once it got to 31-14, they're like, okay, let's blow through all this, like, blowout material that we got. And there was still a game happening. Ben, I fully understand.
I didn't even know there were two teams there. If I was blind, I wouldn't have had a clue that it wasn't a spring game.
Ben, I understand. Like I said, I fully expected the Colorado treatment. What they did in a lot of portions was fail to show the play. And that can't happen. Or the play is happening and you're in a split screen on something that doesn't matter. Like if something major, like that you want to go to your sideline reporter to report on an injury and you go to the split screen, stuff like that, I get. They were showing stuff that interrupted me watching the game that was on TV. I fully get the Colorado stuff. And like I said, I expected it because they draw big numbers. And that's why they have them on at 10:15 at night, because when the ratings come out, it'll be right up there with most of the big, like, national TV network games in terms of ratings.
Fine.
That's why they're on there. I get it.
That's fun. But that doesn't mean you only talk about Colorado the entire broadcast. Like, when early in the game, they talk about how the game meant so much for Colorado because with a win, they're bowl eligible and they're looking for the Big 12 championship. Both teams are. What are you doing? Make it about the fact that one of these two teams is the only team left that will be eligible.
Right. It's an elimination game. Like,
you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't have known it the entire time. Prime has turned it around. This team just a season ago had 4 wins. We had 3. Dum-dums. Did you even look at the stats for last season? I don't think you did. And what? I believe this broadcast team covered a Cincinnati game already this season. You wouldn't know that either. I don't even think they got Brendan Sorsby's name right early in the broadcast. Didn't they call him
They call him
Skorsky?
Brandon?
No, they called him Skorsky. Skorsky. What are you doing? You can't even read the page in front of you. So stupid. What am I doing up at 2 o'clock in the morning covering this bullshit?
I think the big thing is, Aaron, whatever is going on with this offense, especially the passing game, they need to get figured out over this bye week, because
it was terrible
over the past 3 weeks. I mean, they finally, like when Colorado kind of was just trying to get to the finish line.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was one point late in the third quarter, I think Sorsby had completed like 43% of his passes. And this goes back to a lot of what we have talked about. Like, the reason Cincinnati is in this position is because Brendan Sorsby has been good. And he has had his stretches. He had a stretch against UCF. He was good. Had a stretch in the first half against Arizona State. He was good. But he has not been consistently good for long stretches since the Texas Tech game. And, I mean, if you look, West Virginia looked good today. Kansas State did what they do against Kansas every year, which was funny. I saw some UC fans when Kansas went up by like 2 or 3 scores, whatever it was. Kansas is going to get Kansas State. Like, no, you've never watched this game before, because we'll get to this tomorrow night, but every year it feels like Kansas State comes back and beats Kansas. But they've got to get this passing game back on track. And a lot of it, again, there was no deep ball again tonight. It was, get it out over the middle, get it out in the flats, and let guys run and make plays, which is fine. But you need that deep ball there to back the defense off.
They didn't even really go for one. I don't even recall a deep ball attempt. I can't imagine there were more
there were a couple
3 attempts.
3 probably sounds about right.
What are we talking about? A couple for? There's no way that you ever get it going if you aren't even trying.
Well, the problem is, Aaron, if you go back the last 2 weeks at least, they have been covered. Not just no time, like it has been blanket coverage on the outside. And Sorsby's a smart quarterback. He's not going to, just blatantly over and over and over again try to throw to guys that are covered. And give Colorado credit. Like they had a couple deep, like not just Travis Hunter. They had a couple DBs that played really, really well. That is kind of the yin and yang of what they do. Like Hunter, hold on a second. They play you straight up man to man, and they say beat us. And Cincinnati didn't do a good job of it. Hunter says, Hunter.
Yeah, that's why I immediately posted it. That's why
I thought it said $9.99.
No.
Just need one more win. Bowl eligible is what I expected to start the season. Sorsby's going to be good, but he's still just a sophomore. We had talked about that since the beginning of the season, that there are going to be ebbs and flows. Team is good, not great. Fully 100% agree with that. It's been one of the few joys you've had on this deployment, so still behind these guys. Thank you for your service, my friend.
Absolutely.
I think you're spot on. Like, I think that encompasses everything we saw tonight. Look, when you're playing the game with 2 top 10 picks, you have a decided advantage, right? Like, Shedeur was unbelievable to start the game. He completed his first 15 passes. And
let's talk about that though. You completed that many, but I think somebody had put 7 of 13 were behind the line of scrimmage. So he's not.
That's part of their.
It's
offense.
not as if I'm just saying it's not as if he's airing the ball out all over the place, and a lot of his yards are yak yardage. It's not as if, again, he's just throwing the ball all over the yard. He's just and let's be completely honest, their receivers do a lot of holding after the catch. A lot of holding after the catch. But
they're also significantly more athletic than Cincinnati's secondary.
it works. And if we were getting away with it, I'd be more than happy as well.
Yeah. Mad Max, thanks for coming in. You're right. Not to hate on this broadcast team, but they're doing a late night show that nobody asked for. That is, you nailed it. That is,
You're right.
You said it better than Aaron and I could, and Matt Hunter just paid us $99. Max, I owe you like $2.50. I'll give you $3. It's a great point. It's a great point. But yeah, that's the design. I think Cincinnati did a good job defensively. Their scheme was not going to let Colorado beat them deep, which they didn't. Outside of Travis Hunter just making a fucking ridiculous catch while getting I think Ormani Arnold had him in the sleeper hold. And he still caught the ball.
What was he doing?
Well, he was beat. He was beat by like 2 steps, and he was just trying to like.
If you're gonna get a PI, you have to make sure they don't catch it, so it's only 15 yards and not whatever that mess was. Man.
Oh. We can talk about the end of the half if you want, Tyler. Clearly the 4th down at some point, I know what you're going to say, and I don't disagree with you, but at some point, players have to make a play, Aaron, and they had 2-on-2. It was the guard in the center against 2 defensive linemen. If they get a half yard of push, Sorsby has an easy first down. That give it to Kiner. I get all that. I'm not disagreeing with that. But what I'm saying is at some point, your guys have to make a play. You have to be able to get a yard of push to get that first down.
I don't even care if Sorsby runs. I would prefer Kiner run. Kiner ran well tonight. He ran well tonight. But I don't care that it was Sorsby who got the call.
For a while.
I did not like Sorsby getting the call out of the empty backfield because we all knew Sorsby was going to run out of an empty backfield.
Okay, but
that's the only part I didn't love about it.
Here's where I would disagree with you there. As soon as you bring Kiner into that backfield, they put 2 linebackers right there. If you spread them out, you are creating that one-on-one that I'm talking about, where you have a guard and a center against 2 defensive linemen. You're not crowded, like there's not a bunch of bodies in the box. You just have to get off the line and get push, and it's an easy first down. Well, and they got pushed back.
Regardless, whatever you do, if you miss on that 4th down, you cannot give up a touchdown going into the half in less than a minute. You cannot do that.
I mean, worst case at that point, Aaron, you give up 3 and you go into halftime down 6. And you basically put the game on the back of we're going to come out and get a stop to start the second half. And if you do that, the game is right on track. You're down 6. You've got the ball. And instead, pretty clearly, I think Jordan Young thought they were in a shell where he had, because you could see him yelling at the safety.
He was mad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I would be mad too if I thought I had help.
Who was back there? Was it Logan Wilson?
I think it was Logan Wilson. I think it was 13.
If I remember correctly. Yeah. If I remember correctly.
So he clearly thought he had help. Whatever the case is, you cannot get lost in the sauce on Travis Hunter for just an easy, 34-yard, just a walk-in 34-yard touchdown with 10 seconds left in the half. If you're confused, call timeout. They had 3. Could have used one. If you didn't get I would have called, you should have called a timeout before the 4th and 1 to get your play set and get your shit organized. But you can't let that snap happen and just have him completely wide open. Aaron, if you don't see the difference between this defense and Andrew, if you don't see the difference between this year and last year on defense, I can't help you, dude. Significantly better. Not even close. Do they still have personnel issues in the secondary? Yes. It's not where it needs to be yet. I think that is very clear, especially with allowing him to go 15 for 15 for 160 yards or whatever it was to start the game.
I mean, even 25 of 30 for 323 to end the game.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
NFL numbers.
Yeah, he completed 83% of his passes and he was sacked once. Like he did whatever he wanted. Whatever he wanted.
That said, I think this is the hardest by far. This is the best team all around that we've played. And unfortunately, we had to play them now that they're clicking in all three areas of the team.
Yeah.
Their special teams is winning awards, weekly awards. Their defense is fantastic. Their offense is stellar. I'm not mad at the way they came out. As flat as I felt that Cincinnati was, because aesthetically, I think this game was absolutely boring to watch. I don't know if you felt that way. I felt, especially the first half, was a slog. I think each team had 4 possessions, 3 possessions. It was so boring.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, let's see. Cincinnati had 4, Colorado had 4. Yeah. So it was not, and what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It wasn't much different in the second half.
It was a slog. Yeah, and I just didn't ever feel like it was exciting. That said, Cincinnati comes out flat, extremely flat in their first drive, 3 and out. And you're still up until the last couple minutes of the game within a score. If this was Cincinnati playing bad against a good team, look, I think they're going to find their 6th win. We're going to be bowling. I feel good about where this team is headed. I still think the trajectory is up. You're just you have to figure out ways to play up when you're against a tough team. And I think that when they had their chances tonight, they didn't play up. They blew their shots, especially in those 3rd down, 4th down critical moments. I mean, you finished on 3rd down today? 3 of 10.
It wasn't good.
That's dreadful. 3 of 10 is dreadful.
And Colorado was 7 of 13. And what, 3 of those came at the end when they were just literally trying to get the hell out of there?
You were also 1 of 3 on 4th down after, again, last week was your first 4th down that you've missed. And now you've missed 3 in the last 2 games. You got to figure some things out.
At the end.
I get it.
Dave, I completely disagree. Outside of some in-game decisions, I was disappointed in the run defense. Allowing them to give the backs 32 carries is just bad for a team that really isn't interested in running the ball.
Oh, I think
they averaged 3 yards a carry, 3.1 yards a carry.
They wanted to run the ball. That was what they planned on doing.
They ran 40 times for 123 yards. Like, I'm perfectly okay with that. 3 yards a carry. They were getting what? Average yards a pass, over 10, 10, almost 11 yards a pass. And they were getting 3 yards a run. Please run more. Run all that you would like, please, sir. And Cincinnati only had 1 sack. It wasn't like we were talking, they had a bunch of sack-adjusted yardage in there that changed the number.
I didn't watch a single one of Deion Sanders' press conferences this week, but I know from the telecast, because I think they covered every word that came out of his entire mouth this week, that he wanted to establish the run. He said that was the one part of the offense that they hadn't gotten going. So he recognized it, and I think that was a point of emphasis for this game. Not to mention, that's been still the knock on Cincinnati's defense the whole season as a whole, that we've been better against the run the last couple of games, but that's still something that I'm okay with what they're doing defensively against the run.
The guy that surprised me for them was Preston Hodge. They put him on Xavier Henderson a bunch. Like, they did not just strictly travel with Travis Hunter and say Travis Hunter is guarding him. Preston Hodge made a bunch of really, really nice plays for them in their secondary.
I thought they just decided that unless you put somebody in a WWE chokehold, that they just were not going to actually throw a pass interference play or pass interference flag. So I think both teams got away with way more than I would have. If I was the referee, I would not have allowed.
Marcus, I guess I watched a different game than everybody that was in my mentions and Marcus and Dave. When the game was in the balance, they were running with ease and often. That never happened. When did they run with ease and often? They averaged 3 yards a carry. They ran it 40 times for 120 yards. What am I missing, Aaron? Am I missing something?
I think, again, because the game was a slog, I think when you saw it happen, they were running the ball. They were getting first downs when they were running the ball. So when you're not seeing all that many things happen, I know you only had the long for Colorado was 13.
Yeah, they had one 13-yard run, one 9-yard run. I don't know. I did not watch that game and think run defense was an issue at all.
Yeah, this is a good point here. People may be confusing screen passes for rushes because everything was thrown behind the line. I'm very curious what out of his 25 caught passes, how many of Shedur's passes were in front of that line of scrimmage? Because I can't imagine it was.
Hunter, the stat I put up they ran the ball 6 times for 23 yards in the first drive. They threw it 4 times for 62. What am I missing? The pass was much more dangerous than the run. Hell, if they didn't run it 40 times, UC might have lost 50-23.
I know I saw earlier in the comments.
Go ahead.
I know I saw earlier in the comments wanting to talk about the egregious targeting call that was just not addressed by the referee crew.
It didn't happen. I saw it live. I was like, don't you at least have to look at that?
Kiner got destroyed. That same
times?
kid, number 7, that same kid did it again in the last drive of the game for Cincinnati. He targeted him again.
He got up, the second one, the last one. He got up like, I can't believe you threw the flag on me, because they threw the flag on Gerhard for a block in the back. He got up like, I didn't do anything.
And yes, even the broadcast is like, I think we're going to get a targeting call on this one. Yeah, you should.
Yeah, the problem there is, go ahead.
I just don't understand how you go and review the spot of the ball on Royer's clear first down, but you don't review the targeting call. It was bananas to me.
No, they didn't review the Royer one. They reviewed the Kiner one.
Maybe I'm getting them confused.
So Royer reached out over the first down marker while he was in bounds. And they spotted it behind the line of scrimmage. They didn't review that. But then on the next play, Kiner runs for the first down, and they reviewed that one and then agreed with the call. 9 of the first 14 possessions were behind the line of scrimmage, screens, getting their guys one-on-one on the outside. They were running in it. The problem, Tyler, is those dudes are a lot more athletic than our dudes.
Very fast. And especially when you look at our linebackers compared to those guys who were running with the ball. Yeah. Well, but the DBs have a cushion. You're playing usually a little further back. But, yeah.
Pace missed the tackle in space. Or not Pace. Peak missed the tackle in space that allowed Hunter. The Jimmy Horn.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Peak missed Hunter he missed him on a hip tackle, and just Hunter was gone down the sideline.
And Marcus, I just think Shedur would have done his thing whether or not there was any run game at all. They just had better dudes on the outside. than we do. I don't think it had anything to do with them running the ball at 3 yards a pop.
At the end of the day, you give up 450 yards, you're probably going to lose a game.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know it's going to be a shootout, and your offense didn't play well. That's the scary thing about Colorado. This is 4 weeks in a row that it looks like their defense is good. Like, they've gone beyond figuring it out. They look good.
That's where I go back to the fact that you're saying that their defense looked so good. I think that Cincinnati played really bad, and we were, again, still within a score up until that last couple minutes of the game.
I'm going to give that, like, our guys were covered a lot. They're like, in the passing game, they had good coverage. Like, Tony Johnson was really the only one that found any consistent space. I love Tony Johnson.
Yeah.
That dude's good. He's the only one that really found any consistent space. Jamoy Mays was not open at all. I thought they did a good job on Royer. They did a good job on Henderson. I think they threw at Travis Hunter too many times. Don't do that. That's not smart. He's better than anyone you have.
Yep.
Sorsby.
He should have gotten the sauce treatment. Just don't throw to him. Whoever he is on don't throw to. You find 12 before you find your guys.
Right. Yeah. Just where's he at? The problem is he was on everybody. He was on Henderson. He was on Mays. He was on Royer.
C12. You check to the next check. You just.
Yeah. Yeah. Kiner had a pretty good game, especially late. You know, they had backed the defense off, and Corey chewed them up quite a bit. It would have been really interesting to see if things were any different if Gerhardt didn't have that block in the back. He would have gotten that big, would have gotten into Colorado territory with over a minute left. Maybe you can get a touchdown, and then
that was the same play where Kiner gets hit by the second not called targeting by number 7.
Yeah. Colorado D played okay. Pass D was better than it has been this year. Run D was below what it has been this year. I mean, I've seen their run D get torched. I think it's been better the last 2-3 weeks. Something happened to Kandra. They said he got carted off. I'm in Cincinnati. I'm in Northern Kentucky, so I don't know. And we don't have a press conference this week.
That first time he went down, he got chop blocked so bad.
Yeah. Just rolled, the life of an offensive lineman. That's why they make them wear those knee braces, because that shit happens, and you need as much support as you can possibly get.
Shout out Evan Prater with the biggest hit of his life.
Oh, he was juiced, boy. He was fired up. Did that hit a Colorado guy and bounce, and then Jimmy Horn picked it up and Prater hit him? I couldn't tell. It bounced, it dinged around a little bit, and then Horn grabbed it, and then Prater
had the first hit. He was the one that jarred it loose.
No. When the punt landed, it ping-ponged around a little bit. I didn't know if it hit a Colorado player, and that's why Horn grabbed it off the bounce.
Oh,
I couldn't tell. Sure, they were probably showing another Colorado feature story on their assistant middle linebackers coach or something. I thought Fletch laid the stick at first. Evans almost just a spin. Yeah, they showed Warren Sapp dancing instead of Kandra. If you want to hear Aaron lose his mind about the broadcast, just go back to the beginning.
And I didn't have a sip of alcohol tonight. That was me just.
I mean, this could be full of bourbon, I guess.
Well, I'm drinking Gatorade because I get to do this again in the morning.
So do I.
Yeah, but I got to get up earlier than that for kids.
I got to get up earlier than that to take Kelsey to volleyball too. So we're both in for it. It's Turtles Brewing here with New Riff mixed in. So I don't know, Aaron. They didn't play well enough to win. I think that's just the easiest way to put it. I think the opportunity was there, although
They missed when they had the opportunities.
Yeah.
Offensively they missed, defensively they missed. Special teams was the only thing that I didn't love. Mason Fletcher's one punt wasn't very good.
Yeah, what do you average? He averaged 45, so he had a 52-yarder. So
it was the one when they were back in their own territory, and it ends up at like midfield.
It was like I think it was like the 37, 38.
Even Colorado was getting the friendly bounces though on the punts. We didn't get a single friendly bounce on anything. Like just nothing went our way tonight.
No, and what the first game all year they didn't have the lead at half. That was ominous. They gotta stop the implosions before halftime. They just stuck the life out of everything right before halftime. Frustrating. Yeah. Frustrating. What else you want to talk about? Anything?
The super secret scrimmage.
We don't want to talk about that. We're better off talking about this.
It's just a bad day.
Look, we're a Cincinnati sports fan, right? Last weekend, everything went right. You had to know we would, have it come back on us this weekend. So what I'm saying is hammer the Eagles tomorrow. Hunter, you're the best, brother. Might as well break the 100 mark. Thank you, man. Tyler, good to have you. First time you've been able to drop in this year. Why is the first time you've been able to drop in at 2:28 in the morning, Tyler?
Maybe he's in a different time zone. Maybe he works the late shift. I don't know. Why are you giving the guy a hard time? Thanks for
just
coming.
asking. I'm just asking. We're up. Unwillingly. It's gonna be like 3:30 before I fall asleep. But what can you do?
I can't wait until next week when Colorado loses. Really, who do they play next? When this stupid league does what this stupid league does, and all of a sudden they lose to whoever the next team is, embarrassingly. It's probably like Houston.
Texas Tech. They got a bye week. And then they play Texas Tech. Who woof. Dude, I left. Like, I was watching that game, and they got up big, 3 scores, 2 whatever. And I was like, well, now's a good time for me to go grab Kelsey some dinner. Kelsey and I some dinner. And came back, and they had lost by 1. Wow. My wife just rolled over and said, you're obsessed with that Chad guy. It's 2:30 in the morning. Tell her I said, I'm sorry.
Jeff just texted me and said, hey, I got to work all night and then talk about it in the morning. I win.
Dave's going to try to jump on the plane. Well, I'm sure your seatmate will love that. You podcasting from 30,000 feet.
Man.
Oh, boy. Anyhow. I think it was just a game that Colorado executed better. I didn't have an issue really with any of the coaching. There were a couple plays that I thought, hey, need to make the play, like need to be better. The play is there to be made. You got to make it, because when you're playing a team like Colorado with the talent that they have, more often than not, they're going to make the play. So you have to answer when you have your opportunities. We get so lost in like, we got to blame the coach or we got to blame the AD or when you're at this level, sometimes the players just need to go make a play, Aaron. And I thought Colorado, just plain and simply, Colorado made more plays.
Well, upcoming, you have a winnable game in West Virginia after a bye week. You have at home.
Then you've got the 2-game road trip.
Then you've got at Iowa State, 7-0 Iowa State, at 7-1 Kansas State, the two ranked teams currently at 10 and 16, and then you have probably the most even matchup that you have left. Because I don't think West Virginia.
They're back from the dead. TCU's back from the dead, Aaron.
They're sitting at 5-3 as well.
What about the 2-point conversion play call?
They explained it. The broadcast did explain that.
No, I know the math.
Your odds of getting it go up if you're taking the shot at 2-point conversions instead of 1. But whatever.
And look, if you know, I love the math. Like if you've watched this program long enough, you know Aaron and I argue about 3-pointers in basketball. It's coming to a screen near you in like 10 days, 9 days.
Yeah.
To hear me explaining to Aaron that 33% from 3 is just as good as 50% from 2. I don't think here's my take on going for 2 there. I don't think the advantage is big enough. It's like 51-49. You know what I mean?
Why is this Brendan's mother in the chat? Why was she not able to watch?
Becky, you're watching this and you weren't able to watch the game?
I would be mad as well if I was not able to watch.
Should have let me know. We'd have pulled up a double screen here, and I would broadcast the ESPN game on YouTube. Got us in all kinds of trouble. Might have got our channel shut down, but I would have helped you out. The play call, whatever. I don't. It doesn't bother me that much. It's a gimmicky thing. I know I don't love the gimmicky things. I'd rather just line it up and try to get 3 yards. But again, like you got to call something. you got to call something.
Well, do we throw the games versus Iowa State and Kansas State so Colorado can't make the title game? I still think we're gonna swipe one of those.
I know you do.
It's gonna be
State
Kansas
doesn't
State.
look unbeatable.
No,
but they find a way. They have found a way. Tonight was another one where they found a way.
I can't wait for the I Told You So game when we are victorious over Avery Johnson. Can't wait.
Natty Ron, I don't think UC looked small compared to Colorado. I thought Colorado was the smaller, shiftier, faster team, I thought. Cincinnati was the bigger, more physical team. I'm not agreeing with anybody tonight.
You know who I thought looked small? Shiloh. Shiloh looked small, especially when Corey Kiner jumped that little man. Isn't he?
Bitch. Like, he's got severe, like, I'm not as good as my brother syndrome, doesn't he?
No, I don't even know if Dion knows his name.
That was the funny part, is they showed Dion just ripping Shiloh. Like, oh no, he wasn't very good today. He played like shit. I don't know. Guys, I appreciate everybody being here. Aaron and I both need to probably get some sleep. I don't have a whole lot else to say. I've got to host the brunch tomorrow with Jeff.
I just wanted to make sure we got that dig in on Shiloh, because
Shiloh's a bitch.
That all that grabbing of the ankle and personal whatever, dude. I was so happy he got leaped over by Kiner later in the game when he tried to make another big hit. They're calling him, what did they call him? It wasn't the enforcer, but it was essentially
something
bruiser
stupid.
Or something stupid. Yeah.
How about Royer just tossing aside Travis Hunter? I know people were mentioning that earlier.
Yeah.
On a play that should have been a first down, and they spotted him 2 yards short when he was nowhere close to being short. The Colorado players were all dancing fools. A tough loss. Yeah, it was a tough loss. He's the Flop Isaacs of football Big 12. Aaron used to love Pop Isaacs. You're gonna miss not talking about Pop Isaacs this year.
I'll find plenty of people to hate. Don't come on now. But hopefully it'll be for different reasons. That dude is just a terrible human.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you in 7 hours for the Bearcat brunch. This is the Aftermath. Bearcats fall 34-23. Brought to you by Mio's Pizza right here on BearcatJournal.com. Get some sleep, you filthy animals.